All right, so this video kind of continues on from yesterday's subject. If you didn't see yesterday's video, go check it out. It's doing pretty well. So it is Pride Month. I had no idea. I don't follow this stuff. But I came across this clip from MSNBC, another ridiculous clip, another ridiculous conversation. I can't believe this stuff is in the news. So of course I had to make a video on it. Before we get into it, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, comment, helps get the video out. All right, let's get into it.
And with June marking the start of Pride Month, some big corporations are thinking twice about how they display support for the LGBTQ+ community. It comes as the Trump administration takes a hardline stance against anything to do with diversity, equity, or inclusion. NBC News correspondent Stephen Romo has more.
A new survey.
When it comes to DEI, I think it's complete garbage, especially when it comes to things like hiring a person based on this. Hiring a person based on what's in their pants or what they do in their bedroom is completely ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts below. What do you think of DEI?
Of more than 200 executives by a risk management research firm shows nearly 40% plan to pull back on how they engage with Pride this year. Why? More than 60% say they fear backlash from the Trump administration and its actions against diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts by companies.
Our country will be woke no longer.
The cultural shift going beyond just Pride. You see here the 14-point drop from Republicans in just 4 years in supporting same-sex marriage, the lowest level of acceptance for the party since 2016, when then candidate Trump said this after the Pulse nightclub shooting.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Joining us now.
They twist Trump's words. They twist everything he does. That's what it seems like to me. I don't think he's against it. He's just not giving you an advantage because you are from that lifestyle. It's pretty simple. And again, he says he's protecting them from violence. And I believe he would do that. Or he is doing that.
Now, national correspondent for USA Today, Michael Collins. Michael, can't help but feel the president was right there in 2016 that we should be protecting this community against violence. And yet what we're watching here is this chilling effect from the administration's actions of companies who don't want to get on the administration's radar. And so they're pulling back their public support for this community. In my conversations with advocates, as they go into Pride, some of them say, all right, maybe they're not being public about it, and they should be. But are they still walking the walk and offering those protections internally?
You know, that's a wonderful question and something that I think that we need to just kind of watch to see what happens. And the atmosphere that we're seeing right now is so different than what we saw under the Biden and Obama administrations. I mean, they frequently embraced, Pride. Both presidents held events at the White House celebrating Pride. They issued proclamations declaring June as Pride Month, but this administration.
These companies aren't pulling out of supporting Pride because of Trump. It's because of profits. I think we've all seen that. What was it, Bud Light? I mean, go woke, go broke. They're doing this because of money. That's it. Again, everything gets blamed on Trump.
Is not doing any of that.
Yeah, not doing any of that, and instead targeting, for example, the trans community, whether it's through reconciliation policy or through Pentagon policy that pulls trans folks out of service. Can you talk a little bit about the trans erasure that we're seeing? Because you've done some really good reporting.
Trump pulling trans people out of military service. I am going to guess, I don't know for sure, didn't really look it up, but I'm guessing Trump is going based on thinking that these people have some type of mental illness, believing they are born in the wrong body. Probably not the best idea to put them around guns. Whether you believe it or not to be correct, or, that's where I'm guessing he's coming from by pulling those people out of the military.
From veterans of the Stonewall movement, Pride is a riot after all, or at least it started that way, about what they're seeing now marking this Pride Month.
Sure. So the Stonewall Inn was and is a very popular bar in New York City, in New York City's Greenwich Village. And it was the site of a riot in 1969 that is kind of considered the spark that ignited the LGBT rights movement. And in 2016, President Obama designated Stonewall as a national monument because he felt like what happened there was such an important moment in American history and LGBTQ history that he wanted to make sure that, what happened was not forgotten and the people who participated in this were not forgotten. President Trump sees things differently. His administration has been on a campaign to erase or at least weaken programs that he thinks promote what he calls wokeism or diversity and inclusion.
I don't think this stuff should be promoted. I don't. I don't get why you would even want to promote it. What a grown adult does is no business of mine. It's not up to me what they do. I don't even have to agree with it. But as long as it's not hurting anyone else, it's, I don't understand why it has to be pushed down the throats of everybody, especially here in Canada. It's everywhere. Do what you want to do. Keep it to yourself. It won't be a problem.
And you may recall on his first day in office, he signed a number of executive orders. Yeah. One of those orders declared that his administration would only recognize two genders, male and female.
There's only two.
When that happened, agencies all across the federal government started to update their websites to conform to this policy. And as a result of that, any reference to transgender people was eliminated from the website dedicated to the Stonewall National Monument.
Rightfully so.
And that's completely changing the way that we see that history. I mean, what are those veterans of Stonewall saying now about that erasure, but also about this moment in the movement?
They're really concerned about that. I talked to a number of people who were there, who were involved in the riots. And one person in particular that I talked to who was inside the bar the night of the raid, he said, transgender people were there and they were a key part of what happened. They fought against police. They rioted right alongside gay men and lesbians. And other people. I mean, there were a lot of people who were rioting at Stonewall, but transgender people were a very important part of that. And he said, what you're seeing the administration do is basically rewrite history or censor history and just, eliminate any reference to, what these transgender people helped accomplish.
It's really important reporting. It's important to remember this day as it happened and continue remembering Pride that way as well. Michael Collins, thank you for bringing us your reporting on this important topic.
Thank you for having me.
Erasing the history. I don't understand why you would need a history. This is stuff that should be happening behind closed doors. I really don't understand the point of promoting it, celebrating it, pride, parades. Straight people don't celebrate that they're straight. They're just straight. These people say they were born this way. Okay, well then what are you celebrating? None of this makes any sense. The fact that they even report on this in the news doesn't make any sense. Why am I making a video on this? That doesn't even make any sense. Let me know your comments below, what you think DEI, this whole subject, Pride Month. Are these people going too far? Any and all comments always welcome. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.